And it's important that we keep the favor of the Lord. It is important we remember who He is, who we are, and why He created us.
Yes, Lord.
He could have destroyed all of us and never brought us back again. But even in His anger, in the time of Noah, when He wanted to destroy everything, He found favor in Noah. Through Noah, He allowed mankind to go on. He allowed us to still be who we are. Because He could have destroyed man, never been to him. He wanted to destroy it, He destroyed the world. Not only those who were bad, all the flowers, the trees, the shrubs, the birds, everything He created, because He was mad about the way man was born. It's just like you being your child. I nourish you, I feed you, I grown you, I had you, and then you turn your back on me. Everything I tell you not to do, you do. Well, your pride is so much now, you want to run the household.
Amen.
You want to be the head of the household. Not realizing that if everybody left you right there, you would just be still standing in that one spot in a total confusion. What happened? What did I do wrong? Well, you let your pride get hold of you. Bible says there was one who let his pride have him tossed from the kingdom of heaven. In Latin, his name is Lucifer. It means morning star. In the list of 7 fallen angels and 7 deadly sins, his sin is listed as pride. What do we say about pride? When we think we're greater than that which is around us, then we've lost ourselves.
That's right. Come on, man. That's right.
We can't come back from that. There's nothing anybody can do for us. I want everybody to go to Ezekiel. We're going to do chapter 28, and we're going to do Isaiah, but we won't start with Ezekiel chapter 28, 13 through 19. We know who we told Satan is. Now let's find out who he really was. And really, really understand what he lost and what we gained. Sometimes in order to understand how well you are, you have to see how bad off somebody else is.
That's right.
And believe me, Satan is bad off. He knows his time is coming. He knows it's over for him. And he's going to take as many people with him as he can. Can't put the hand on him. It's not through physical, but through influential things that Satan attacks us.
That's right.
Pride, envy, anger, stubbornness. Not all of them are deadly sins, but they can all be just as deadly.
Amen.
If you go with them. We're going to deal with chapters 13 through 19 in Ezekiel. Everybody have to say amen.
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 It reads as follows. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering, sardius, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets and thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou wast created. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of God. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of stones of fire. See, he was already where we trying to get to. Revered, loved, cherished, beautiful. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou wast created, till iniquity was found in thee. By the multitude of thy merchandise they have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness. I will cast thee to the ground, I will lay thee before kings, and they may behold thee. Thou hast defiled thy sanctuary by the multitude of thine iniquities, and by the iniquity of thy traffic. Therefore I will bring forth a fire from the midst of thee. It shall devour thee, and I will bring thee to ashes upon the earth in the sight of all them that behold thee. All that they know thee among the people shall be astonished at thee. Thou shalt be a terror, and never shalt thou be any more. gave it up for what? You were gifted life. You were gifted favor by God.
Yeah.
You were gifted blessings to wake up every morning and breathe. To know that when you go to sleep that night, you will wake up that morning.
That's right.
You're gifted to be watched over by the angel. He's appointed to watch over you. You're gifted with the knowledge. Even though it was a stolen knowledge, things we shouldn't know, but we do know. But now it's up for us, since we have that knowledge, to understand why we need to be in God's total favor. Satan had everything. Most terror. He had even the power to create grass, to make flowers, do everything. Precious stones. But he thought he was greater than that which made him.
Holy Scribe.
Our mistake in dealing with each other is we think we are greater than those who we talk to when we're basically the same. You can't be greater than that which is you.
That's right.
Come on.
You are God's child.
Come on.
You live within God's love. You aren't greater than that. You are never greater than the Creator.
That's right.
You don't have the Creator's knowledge. You don't have the Creator's power. No matter how much He gives to you, you will never have the power that He has. Because you do not understand how to wield that power. And He knows that.
Yeah.
That's why there's certain things we can't do. There's certain things, places we shouldn't go. And there's certain things we still haven't seen yet that God has for us. And as long as we remain the way we are, we will never see those things. We will never know those things. And the sad part is not because of what God will do to us, it's because of what we've done to ourselves.
That's right.
We will destroy ourselves
That's right.
in the name of pride.
Exactly.
We will destroy ourselves in the name to say, I am the king. Well, most great kings are dead now.
Come on.
Regardless how good or how precious or how much people worship them, they're not here anymore. One day we won't be here anymore.
That's right.
But the question you should be asking yourself, if I'm not here, where will I be?
Come on now.
That is not the
Come on
final
now.
answer to anything. It's a moving on to the next phase.
Yeah.
But where will you go?
Come on.
To be tortured forever in hell? Or praising God in the kingdom of heaven?
Come on.
When actually your praises of God should be starting down here.
Right now.
You don't have to wait to hit the heaven and say thank you.
Amen.
Yes, Lord. Thank you.
Let us go to Isaiah chapter 14. This Satan was something else. I read in the Bible us, man, who God actually talked to. Actually seen, talk to Noah. Y'all know Moses saw God. He made us manifested himself before him. We hoping to at least get through the gates, the pearly gates, in order to get a glimpse of the glory of God.
Come on.
We're dealing with an angel who had God, who's sitting on the left hand of God. Jesus sits on the right hand. Satan. Like I say, you can have everything you want. And what do you want? You want to be the king. I'm sorry, but we can't handle that. We can't handle
We can't handle that.
We can't.
Because of our pride. It is said before that Satan is like a roaring lion, waiting to pounce, waiting to devour us. We have to always be sober and vigilant, looking out for that. It takes so little. I might bump into you. You lose your religion real quick.
Come on now.
Step on your shoe.
Step on his shoe. What you doing, man? You know, mess my shoes up. Child acts accident. You more concerned about the damage to the car than you are to the child.
Come on now.
Have no concern for that which can be replaced, okay?
I know that's right.
It's what cannot be replaced that you lose forever. Your life
That's your life.
cannot be replaced.
Come on.
It may move on, but it can't be replaced. Your child cannot be replaced.
Not.
It's a void, it's emptiness in you. Your loved ones, your parents, think about how much you miss them. Some of us probably haven't thought about it in years.
Mm.
It's not mean, it's not being bad, but like the Bible said, you deal with the living, let the dead take care of the dead.
Come on.
In Isaiah chapter 14, starting verse 12, continuing, Lucifer's downfall. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of the prisoners? Being in charge is not about being worshipped and adored, which we get confused. Being in charge means you're responsible for everything you create. You're responsible for everyone who's under you. You're responsible for everything. Which is why I know we can't handle that God does, because we can't handle that responsibility. Some of us can't walk, talk, or sleep in any kind of way. We have trouble understanding ourselves.
That's right.
Amen.
Come on.
We get confused. There's no confusion in God.
That's
Amen.
right.
But we don't seem to understand it. When he puts a task before us, it is up to us to do that task. We say God's not going to give you anything that you can't handle.
That's right.
When God sets a task before you, it's already a completed task. It's already a task that's going to succeed. But you need to do the work. If you expect to get the kingdom of heaven, you have to work.
That's right.
Amen.
That's why God no longer just hands anything to you. Look what he did for the children of Egypt. Fed them, led them out of bondage, but across the wilderness. They finally got to the mountain. They were more concerned about Moses than they were about God.
Come on.
God said, Moses said, let me go up here and talk to God. Well, it took too long for them. They forgot who was going to see who. They forgot who brought you this far. Moses know he didn't bring them that far. Moses brought them that far with the help of God. He couldn't have done it on his own. He knew that. Before Moses could get off the mountain, and before he could bring the laws to them, they had broken every commandment and hadn't even read one yet. Didn't even know what the commandments were. And before Moses could get back down the mountain, he broke every last one. You've just been led across the desert to the wilderness day and night. You've been fed, watered, and every sheltered.
Yeah.
And you don't have time to wait on God.
Come on.
You have no time to wait on God. That's how you know his mercy is good, because we're still here. It could be worse than when the bad was let the bad one wander around for 40 years until the new generation came. And he could have just said, heck with all y'all. I'll give that land of milk and honey to somebody else. Well, I got news, it wouldn't have been nobody else, because there were very few who deserved it. That's why you call it God's chosen people.
That's right.
God chooses you to do a certain task, chooses you to carry out certain things he wants. Because he made you, he knows what's in you, and he knows what you can do. We're telling yourself, oh, this is too hard. Ain't nothing too hard for God.
Come on.
So whatever he put before you, you know it's not too hard for you. If you need some help, you don't have to time, don't even have to ask for it. The help is there.
Amen.
God knows what you're going to go through, how you're going to do it, what help you're going to need, and it's already there. He's just waiting on you to get off your little butts and get on the journey that he set forth to you.
Come on.
Get on your bicycle.
Do you know the people of Egypt were let out of Egypt by a criminal? Moses was a wanted man in Egypt. He killed a man.
Yes, he did.
But that got him to where he needs. See, God moves you where he needs you to be. He's kept him from being executed. by having him placed in a basket, and Pharaoh started finding him. Then it was time for him to go for further training to who he was. He killed a man,
Yeah.
and he had to leave.
Another train.
You have to be trained
Amen.
to do God's work, and he's going to train you.
Amen.
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 God sent Moses to his homeland to train him to be who he was going to be. But not once, if you realize, not once did Moses say, I can't do this. He just asked, who am I? Which was a legitimate good question. He didn't see the big picture.
Right.
You know, if I go back to Egypt, I'm a dead man. No. You going to go back to Egypt, and you're going to walk up to Pharaoh, and you're going to tell him what I said. It shows you how. And being the king and the ruler go. Now, any other time, murder walk back in there, you put him in chains, you take him and you execute him. Pharaoh was so abused. Let's see what this fool has to say. But he was setting his own trap. Because the final damage to Egypt was not done by Moses, but was done by the mouth of Pharaoh himself. This great king doing his own nation.
He did.
Bring it on, man.
Because Moses had favor with God. Moses, who looked at the task as impossible, all of a sudden decided, oh, I can do this.
Amen.
I've got him by my side. He was doubted. I mean, anytime you get a man who stutters, who seems to be weak, but he was the strongest of all of them because of his faith. Not because of the power that God gave him, but because of his faith allowed him to do what God told him to do. And he did it without question. He did it without hesitation.
Come on.
We have to learn to do that too.
Come on now.
If I bump into my brother and say, excuse me, so it's all right, no damage done. Walk on.
Amen.
If I see a man struggling, I could be so great, think I'm so clean or so proud that I can't go over and help him up.
Come on.
God didn't say feed him, clothe him. He already doing all that. But sometimes we all need a little help. We say do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Well, if I slipped and fell, I expect somebody to help me up.
That's right.
Amen.
But what do? We laugh.
Step over.
Fine, I laugh with you. We make sure I'm fine and ain't nothing wrong. We can all laugh.
Amen.
But at the moment of distress is when a person is needed help the most.
Help me. Yes, sir. Come on. Amen.
That's right.
We fail on those levels because we go to church on Sunday and before we get halfway down the street, we're already doing half the things that we say we weren't going to do in church.
Amen.
We see somebody, that fool, Steve, don't worry about why he's fool. God's got that. You just worry about what you're doing. As long as you're doing what God wants you to do and doing it the right way, you don't have to worry about them. It's not for you to worry about them. You're not responsible for those other people. I'm not responsible. Pastor, none of us are responsible for each other. We're responsible to do what God wants us to do because God is responsible for all of us. And as far as I can see, he's doing a darn good job taking care of it.
Amen. Amen. Come on, witness, Doc. Amen.
Awesome.
We keep falling into that trap of Satan. He don't have to physically touch us. Just push that little anger button. Push that little pride button. Push that little, I'm irritated this morning, but if you're irritated, then you need to get your Bible out and go down on your knees and pray. Oh, why am I so bad this morning? Don't wait till you get to me because you're upset. Hi, good morning. What you talking about?
What's good about it?
What's good about it? If you got to ask that question, you missed the point. You standing here talking to me, living, breathing, walking in your right mind. You want to ask me what's good about the morning.
Amen.
You missed the point. The fact you're here to complain about it is good. You can see me. That's good. I can feel this pain. I got my advantage. That's good. You know why? Because it lets me know I'm still here.
Come on now.
I can accept that pain. If it gets too bad, the Lord take care of it. Because I don't worry about it. That's the price I have to pay to have this shell, which is housed in my soul.
Yeah.
It gets old, it gets worn. But you have to remember, your faith should not get old and get worn. Your faith should be steadfast.
Come on now.
That's right.
Said something.
If you make mistakes, say, Lord, forgive me.
Yeah, Lord.
But realize too, when you make mistakes or when you commit crimes, whatever it is, the Lord will forgive you, but you still have to go through punishment.
That's right.
That's where your second strength comes in. Lord, I know I did wrong. I know I have to go through this punishment. Help me. Accept your responsibility.
That's right.
You said something, man. You said something. You said it powerful.
We are so weak when it comes to that.
That's right.
Wasn't my fault. Were you involved in it? Yes, it was your fault.
Yeah. Why take up?
Did you do anything different to make it not happen? No, it was your fault.
That's right.
But it was also, don't worry about what also or who else. Your fault is you allowed it to happen because you didn't do the things you needed to do to keep it from happening. You didn't go where you were supposed to go.
That's right.
You didn't talk to who you were supposed to talk to. You didn't help who God told you to help.
That's right.
And don't think just because you don't help them, it's over. He find somebody else to do it. Then you're in big trouble.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
That's right.
Like we told our child, what do you mean you got Joey to do it? I told you to do it.
Come on.
It's about obedience.
That's right.
Amen.
It's about following instructions.
That's right.
If you're going to call yourself grown, then prove it. Don't say I'm a grown man and God asked you to do something and you say, I don't feel like it right now.
Mm.
Suppose God said, well, I don't feel like letting you breathe for the next hour.
Come on now.
I hear you, but just so you know what it means not to breathe for an hour and to suffer.
Not let you die.
Not let you die. Just you can't breathe for an hour. Some of us can't hold our breath for 30 seconds.
Come on.
But would you know what it felt like not to be able to breathe for an hour and know you couldn't die? Or have a pain so sharp, you want to die but you can't die? There's no comfort, no easing for it. Remember what Job went through? We be cussing God's name left and right and everything else right there. Job never would. And you don't give anybody advice to do it because those who gave him advice to curse and God, they got punished. It's like I always say, we love each other. God is love.
Yes, it is.
I can't tell my brother I love you 1 minute and say I can't stand you without also telling God I can't stand you because he's a product of God's love. I'm a product of God's love. So if I can't stand you, then I can't stand God.
That's right.
Amen.
Then I had the nerve to turn around and say, Lord, help me. He gonna help me, but I've sinned and now I got to pay for that. I have to take responsibility for what just came out of my mouth.
Yes, sir.
It's not always bad. We need to quit fearing responsibility. I was gonna say fear punishment, but no, it's not the punishment. It's the fact that we know we did something that was irresponsible and we don't want to face up to it.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
That's deep.
Come on.
Life is consequences.
Yes, it is.
There are good consequences, there are bad consequences.
Yes, it is.
Teach him, man.
If you're gonna accept the good ones, then you have to accept those bad ones and work with it.
That's right.
You can't have light without the dark.
That's right.
You can't appreciate good if there's no bad. You wouldn't know what good was. There'd be no difference. We had that choice till we lost the Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
We were ignorant, and that was a good ignorance. We were taken care of. Then we got knowledge. And we got worse.
Amen.
We didn't get better, we got worse. We know what we have to do. We know what is expected of us. Sometimes we just say, oh, I don't feel like doing it today. Let me explain something to you about tomorrow. What you did 5 minutes ago was yesterday. Whether it was good or bad. What you need to do right now, you can't put off for tomorrow because there's no such thing as that. I'll do it later. There's no such thing as later or tomorrow. Because when you do it, it's still going to be today, and you still going to have to do it now.
Come on now.
Ain't no tomorrow.
Today and now do not go away. Tomorrow is not promised to you. Yesterday is gone.
Amen.
If you didn't do it then, you just lost some time.
That's it.
But you can't tell me I'll do it later because later don't exist.
That's right.
You still have to do it now.
Do it now.
Wow. Get it done.
Every day you wake up is the first day in your life.
Ain't no tomorrow.
There ain't no tomorrow. Somebody explain to me what you did tomorrow.
Come on. Come on.
Wow.
Amen.
Ain't no tomorrow.
You can tell me what you did yesterday.
Come on.
You can tell me what you plan on doing today. But I bet none of y'all know what you're going to do tomorrow. Because it doesn't exist.
Amen.
When tomorrow gets here, it's still today. When later gets here, it's still now. Quit with these poor excuses. I can do it later. No, you can't do it
Come
later.
on, man.
You got to do it right now.
Do it right now.
Well, I'll wait until tomorrow. You can't wait until tomorrow.
Ain't no tomorrow. Wow.
So quit procrastinating.
Go on and do it now. Do it now.
I might as well do it now before it becomes something I should have done yesterday.
Wow.
Ouch.
You understand what I mean by how weak we are?
Yes.
How we can't handle
You hear
responsibility?
that, baby?
How we make excuses?
That was,
How we put things
it's
off?
the truth.
They sound good to us, but those are man's terms. Now, if you want God's definition of it, you wouldn't be able to understand that.
Wouldn't be able to have it.
God's nothing is put off. Everything God does is now, or was done. He's the only one that can do it in the future because He's shaping it.
Amen.
He knows what you're going to do
Preach.
tomorrow, what you're going to become today.
God, my God.
He knows what you're going to do later, which is now.
Come on now.
Ooh.
He wrote your book of your life.
Amen.
Come on, man.
He knows what's in the next chapter,
Wow.
but you can't.
My. Ain't no tomorrow.
There is no tomorrow. There is no later. It's only now. Everything we do, we have to do now. Which is what the Bible is trying to tell us. Salvation is at hand. We have to reach out and grasp it now. We have to be obedient now. We have to make our prayers and our supplication to God now.
Now.
You can't avoid now.
Amen.
Some of y'all say he died yesterday. That's true. He gonna die tomorrow? No, I died now.
Today.
And the thing I can do about it. There's another thing you can do about not doing stuff now. Quit trying to do stuff later and tomorrow. You can't do it. Understand that first before you take on anything.
All right.
God is blessing you now. God has blessed you in the future. We are the ones catching up. God's already there.
Catching up.
Already there.
Hallelujah.
Catching up. Thank you, Lord. I received that.
Some of us catch up a little slower than
Ain't no
others.
tomorrow.
Be obedient, we catch up.
Amen.
That's why don't worry about how fast or how slow your salvation or whatever your understanding is, because you have no control over tomorrow, which don't exist. You only have control over today. You don't have control over now.
Now.
And now while you here, figure out or get help what I need to keep control. And work on it.
Amen. Amen.
Work on being better to each other.
That's fine.
And work on when you say do unto others as you have them do unto you. Actually do that.
Amen.
Treat others like you want to be treated. Actually do that. Actually hug your brother instead of wanting to smack him up. When you want to smack him upside the head. I'd rather you get that mad at me for hugging me than for you. What you doing? I love you, brother. It'll calm him down. You think about it. Now if I smack him upside the head, it's on. I've created a problem that wasn't there. Whatever we was arguing with don't make no difference no more because I smacked him upside his head and he ain't hitting it. I created another problem. When our conflict might have been one we could just sit there and talk about. It might not have been no conflict. But he gonna want to know why I slapped him upside the head. He gonna want to slap me back.
This is true.
Quit creating problems for each other. Quit creating problems for yourself. Remember, the devil is a roaring lion that's sitting in waiting to devour you. Not physically,
That's his job.
but through your own emotions, through your own failings,
Yes.
and through your own trying to push stuff off times that you can't even get to.
Yeah. That's his job.
Because I really mean, if somebody can tell me what they doing tomorrow, what they be doing later, I'd really like to know. That's always been my thing. How can I put something off till later whenever I do it, it's still now?
Still there.
We have to realize who we are. Our limitations end at yesterday and today. Going forward is God's domain. He already knows what's going to happen going forward.
Already know.
For him, there is a tomorrow because he knows about it.
That's
For
right.
him, there is a later because he made it.
That's right.
For us, there's yesterday when we should have done it, and today when we're going to do it now. But you all, because Satan was so arrogant. Jesus fasted and went to the wilderness.
Yeah.
He tried to influence him. A piece of God wanted to save himself. He was going to give him all the world. How can somebody give you something God's already given? We don't seem to understand that part. You can't promise me a world I've already been given to by the one who created me, so that I may bow down to you. That's what got you in the situation you're in right now. You no longer have the kingdom of heaven. You no longer have the adoration of man or anybody else. And you lost God's eternal love. My brothers and my sisters, simple. Never put off tomorrow what you can do today.
Amen. Amen.
That's right.
Amen.
Live like you expect others to live. Treat others like you expect them to treat you. Don't wait till tomorrow because they don't be here. Don't say I should have done it yesterday. Whatever you do for Jesus, whatever you do for God, whatever you do for each other, do it now.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen.